Report to the cloud, Lisa.
Haven't been off. Can you come back?
Report to the cloud.
Give somebody.
Light started lighting screens.
Okay.
Unmuted here. And started. Okay, we are ready.
We are ready, and it
Thank you,
is,
Lisa.
and it is 6 o'clock. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Bend Landmarks Commission for September 19th, 2023. Okay, first of all, roll call. Kathy?
Here.
Okay, I'm here. Derek? Here. And I would like to welcome back to the commission our newest member, Heidi.
Thank you. Here.
Okay, I would also like to welcome to our little group, and here's Tom. There we go. I would also like to welcome Alexa, our new staff member. This is the first presentation you've made to us. Okay, welcome aboard. Thank you. You betcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were here at the April meeting and you
This
met.
is my first presentation.
This is your first presentation though, and besides, from April to September, I can't remember anything anyway, so.
Yeah. Me either.
I trust that everyone has had a chance to, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. Is there anyone out there who would like to make comments on any topic open? As long as it's not on the agenda. Everybody is here for the proposal. Is there anybody online who would like to speak?
Nobody's on.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we'll move on to item 3 on the agenda. We'll have the June draft minutes. I trust everybody has had a chance to take a look at the minutes.
Yep.
Okay, any corrections, alterations, revisions to the minutes?
I move, we accept the minutes as presented.
Tom, would you like to second that? You were here. Yep. Thank you, Tom. It's been moved and seconded to go ahead and accept the minutes from our June meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, we do have a quorum of those who were here last time. That brings me to number 4, our public hearing, PLHIS 2023-0306. Before we can get going, I would like to go ahead and read the preliminary statement. This is a de novo hearing and is an initial evidentiary hearing of PLHIS 2023-0306. The application is a request for, let's see, type 3 historic major alteration, including a remodel and addition to the existing single family historic non-contributing residence, as well as residing and restoring existing windows on the detached historic contributing garage. And that is at 216 Northwest Lava Road in Bend. The burden of proof, the applicant has the burden of proving that he or she is entitled to the approval sought. The applicable criteria for this application include the Bend Urban Area Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 3 and Chapter 10.2 Historic Preservation Code, and the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. Hearings procedure. Testimony and evidence at this hearing must be directed toward the criteria set forth in this staff report or other criteria in the Bend General Plan or Bend Development Code that you believe is applicable to any other criteria in the National Register of Historic Places program that any person believes apply to this decision. Failure on the part of any person to raise an issue with sufficient specificity to afford the landmarks commissioners and parties to this proceeding an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the City Council or Land Use Board of Appeals on that issue. Additionally, failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues relating to the proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the Landmarks Commission to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in circuit court. Order of presentation. The hearing will be conducted in the following orders. The staff will give a report. Applicant will then have an opportunity to offer testimony and evidence. Proponents of the application will then be given a chance to testify and present evidence. When all proponents have testified, opponents to the appeal will then be given, or to the proposal, will then be given a chance to testify and present evidence. After both proponents and opponents have testified, the applicants will be allowed to present rebuttal testimony, but may not present new evidence. At the Landmarks Commission's discretion, if the proponents presented new evidence on rebuttal, opponents may be recognized for a rebuttal presentation. At the conclusion of this hearing, the staff will be afforded an opportunity to make any closing comments. The commission may limit the time period for presentation. Continuances before the close of the hearing, any person has the right to request an opportunity to present additional evidence, argument, or testimony regarding the application. If the hearing is continued for the record left open, the applicant shall also be allowed at least 7 days after the record is closed to all of the parties to submit final written arguments, but no new evidence in support of the application. Do any of the commissioners have any ex parte context, prior hearing, observations, biases, or conflicts of interest to declare? If so, please state the nature and extent of those. No. I would just like to point out that Jason Offa did sit on this commission, and he sat on the commission with Commissioner Heidi and myself for several years. Okay, I'm not sure if that means anything at all to the way we treat him, or the proposal. But I thought it should be brought to light. Does any party wish to challenge any commissioner based on ex parte context, biases, or conflicts of interest? No? All right. Then we will move on. Close of the hearing. Restate the decision and describe the, oh, no, never mind. I don't need that. Okay, then we will move on. Alexa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm gonna have Heidi here share my screen.
Well, this is the right here, so I need to open it up, right, and then share screen.
You can share the screen first. And then
Okay, so
you just click on it. And just put the presentation. And then okay. So good evening, everybody. My name is Alexa Repko. I am a new associate planner with the City of Bend current planning division. We have a public hearing tonight for, sorry, is my microphone on? There we go. For 216 Northwest Lava Road, which includes a major alteration for a new addition and remodel of an existing single-family historic non-contributing residence, as well as the detached historic contributing garage. So here it is on a map. The 7,173 square foot subject property is zoned medium density residential. And it's also in the historic zone, and it butts a 12-foot alley to the south, I believe. The property is developed with an existing 1,164 square foot craft style bungalow.
Alexa, maybe because I'm not.
Oh,
I need to. Sorry,
I need to clicking through on my
own. So you're on to the.
I'm on that. Yeah. Okay. So the property is developed with an existing 1,164 square foot craftsman style bungalow constructed in 1916 and is designated as historic non-contributing in the Old Town Historic District. The historic photos provided by the applicant appear to be from the 1990s, but there weren't any historic photos of like the rear of the property. So this is the best we got. Moving on. Next slide. Cool. So this is current, the existing front elevation. The primary facade faces Northwest Lava Road. It should be noted that the property has undergone a number of changes, including those approved in 2014 by the City of Bend Building Department, and that was under building permit BP 14-2536 to re-roof the existing single-unit detached dwelling. Subject property is 2 frontages, and as part of this proposal, will move the main entrance of the existing single-unit detached dwelling to the frontage on Northwest Delaware Ave. Okay. So it's not going to be moving the main entrance, no. Okay, but it should be noted that there are 2 frontages, one on Northwest Lava Road, and one on Northwest Delaware Ave. So that generally paints a picture of the existing conditions. And let me know if you want me to enlarge these photos a bit. I wasn't sure how large they were going to show up on the presentation. The proposal is for a new 443 square foot addition at the side of the existing 1,164 square foot dwelling. As documented throughout the staff report, the addition is generally compatible with the existing dwelling, and due to its reduced ridgeline and location at the side of the dwelling, it will have a limited impact on the existing primary facade. So this will be the new entrance there on the bridge. Okay, so proposed details are in line with the craftsman style, the existing dwelling, including the gable vents, lap siding and infilled windows. 2 new windows and 1 new door proposed on the south facing elevation, and 2 new doors are proposed on the north facing elevation. On the east-west elevations, the existing windows are being replaced with historic infilled windows. And then conditions of approval recommended to the commission. Overall, 5 conditions of approval are recommended by staff as outlined in the staff report. Most of them are fairly standard. I did also want to mention there weren't any public comments before the hearing, and it doesn't look like we have any yet, at least. And then I just wanted to go in detail a bit on condition of approval number 3. You want to just hit the next slide. Yeah, and it might be kind of hard to see here, but the 3rd condition of approval states the applicant shall demonstrate that the proposed deck is 18 inches or less in height in compliance with 2.1.300 F7A. And so that, I'm gonna pull up the staff report here. So I can read to you that development standard. It says an uncovered porch, patio deck or stoop located above finished grade with a maximum floor height not exceeding 18 inches must be set back a minimum of 18 inches from the side and rear property lines, as long as it does not encroach into any public utility easement. So it might be kind of hard to see there, but they are encroaching, or the proposed deck is encroaching a bit into the side setback. So we'll just want to know if that is 18 inches or less. If it is, then it's fine. And if not, we would need that to be modified to meet the 5-foot side setback in the RM zone. But I think that's all I have. So.
Okay. Do any commissioners have any questions for Alexa? Nothing. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alexa, for the presentation. At this time, I would like to call up the state your name, please, and
Jason Offit, Shelter Studio designer.
If you prefer, if you want to sit down, you can
Yes.
do it either way if you want.
That's fine.
I just want to give you options.
Okay, in response to, will you go to page 3 of the staff report?
Yes.
And it has some photos on there. Page 3, got it. There you go. Regarding, what was that code section? 2.1.7.300.
Yeah. And I think
Minor.
that's part of the.
Yeah. So in response to that code section, what we're trying to do is you pan down just a tiny bit, please. There's an existing deck there.
Mhm.
Currently, it comes out of, what's that, a 1990s edition off the rear of the home? Off the rear of the home, that's an existing deck. Our proposal was to connect to that deck, but we want to field verify the height. If it is greater than 18, we're going to propose to step down from this existing deck, a couple steps down to our new deck, go over to the new deck at the new side entry, then come back up.
Mhm.
Well, that makes sense. Any other questions? And let's see, and we're not moving the front entry. The front entry is staying as is. All we're doing is adding on a deck coming off a new living room.
Got
And
it.
they added a study off to the side.
So when you're done with the remodeling, you're just gonna have this variation going on.
Yeah.
Everything will be less than. 18.
Existing down and back up onto the new.
Okay.
So what you're putting in is a drop down and.
Yes,
it will-
yeah, but we'll have to update that drawing to show the new steps
Okay.
for our
All right.
submittal back.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll need to do that.
Yep.
That will probably be a condition of
That's fine.
approval or whatever.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that was the only thing I saw.
Then let's see, item 3, let's see, it still said, you're doing your presentation comments, still said sconce.
I know, well, you know what, I'm new to this whole thing, I read sconce like loud and clear on the plan, and I was like, I thought a sconce was like a lighting fixture, but maybe this is also called a
Yeah.
sconce, but I changed it in the staff report to say deck, so sorry about that.
And let's see, the detached existing garage, can we go to, our scope there is just to do maintenance. The siding, let's see, page 8 has a 3D elevation, and I don't see any photos of it, but it's in our burden of proof. There's some photos of existing garage. We want to do, the clients would like to do maintenance update to siding, go back with apples for apples, same siding, but stuff that's not deteriorating. Roof as well. There's some existing windows that were covered up, and they want to let those be back to where they originally were. And I believe it's documented as well in our burden of proof, but not conditioning it.
is there, let me. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So just simple, how much of the siding is going to be replaced?
Paul?
All
Yeah,
of it?
it's,
Okay.
it's visually bad.
And I'm assuming that it will be siding that matches.
Exact, yeah,
The
it's gotta be
new
wood
and-
siding to match.
And
It's-
any replacement, will you be replacing siding on the existing structure?
Yes,
And
because you have to blend in with the new.
all of it,
Yeah, with the
half of it.
1990s stuff, that's probably okay. But the one side, the rear of the house probably, yeah. we're
and
gonna
so
do
that
it.
it all blends together and all looks right.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. And let's see. There were a couple other things. There was an issue of drainage and proof of waterproofing of the foundation. Was in here. And I believe it's one of the conditions.
What page? You guys have foundation issues?
Prior to the issuance of, this is number 4 in the conditions of approval. Surface water drainage must be retained on site. and
Oh, that's
controlled.
typical. Yeah, city again requires a grading and building design to be submitted when you apply for your building permit. Planning department, city engineering and building will all take into account.
Okay, the applicant must also provide waterproofing details, including details on flashing and other documentation on how the new roof connection won't cause drainage.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, I don't see any drainage issues with it, but yeah, it has a roof plan identifying the water slope coming out.
Yeah, I think all of the conditions of approval were standard except for that one about the deck.
about the deck,
Yeah.
okay. And do you have a landscape? Did you submit a landscape?
Oh, we did. Yeah, Andy did it right.
Did you- There is one?
Yeah,
I can pull it up.
yeah, north of south landscapes did the design.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any changes, any major changes to?
No, they have really nice growing in the front yard right now, but where the addition's gonna go, like there's sunflowers and all is gonna get impacted.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah,
This is
any,
the landscape plan, I have it up here.
oh, you got it in color. That's nice. How'd you do that?
Eddie does it for me.
Oh. Aren't you special?
Sometimes.
Okay. All right, and so otherwise it's going to. stay-
Yeah, so there's, you know, you can look at those street photos
Uh-huh.
and there's really not too much going on. Some grasses, some bushes. And a tree that's about 3 inches in diameter, maybe 4.
All right, super. Are there any other questions?
Were there cut sheets on the siding?
Yes, if you go into our written burden of proof, the siding, the windows, the colors, the roof, the exterior light fixtures.
Questions? Heidi? Question?
I do have some questions. You knew I'd have.
Yeah.
Under citing.
CIT or SIT? Or SIT? Location on the site.
Location on the
Yeah.
site. I realize, we're obviously not building a new building, you're not changing, but I was glad that you clarified that the entry isn't changing
Correct.
because the addition really looks like a new entry.
Nope.
Which to me, when I was reviewing this, it looks like the whole orientation of the building is being changed and it's being directed towards Delaware, right?
Yeah. but it's not.
Which has a huge impact on
Mhm.
the original siting. So even with the function of the house still saying that the entry is on lava, this new addition, although it is scaled very well,
Mhm.
the covered porch makes it look really massive and makes it look like a grand entry. Which to me is deterring from the original entry. So I'm seeing that it has a drastic impact on the siting as well as the massing and scale, just because of the way that covered porch area is detailed and it has a really wide grand stair. So I was hoping you could talk to those two but those two elements of the code and how you.
Yeah, of course. The size of the porch, the house currently doesn't have a large living space. So we've expanded the living space and then they wanted an equal size to flow out for outdoor living. If you know them very well, they're outdoor people, they're out there all the time. There's also that porch comes down and does not connect to Delaware on purpose. So we don't encourage people to come up. That's why we went that way. The primary home is here. We adjusted scale. We pushed the addition back from the front facade. We can't add on to the rear because the 1990s addition. We couldn't add on to the left side because of the proximity to the garage and outdoor livable space in between those two structures. So that was why it was the best option to go towards Delaware. Again, we're conscious, making sure that the square footage of the addition does not exceed the square footage of the primary and kind of keeping all that as all.
Okay. Yeah, I still just find that I think it's just the covered porch section
Yeah.
and the grand stairs, those really wide stairs are disproportionate and really really pull away from
Yeah.
the original, very modest entry, which is, the forefront of all of our concerns about what is being, maintained, even though it's non-contributing, because it's had some modifications, but as far as that historic impact.
Yeah.
Tom, question?
I had a question about the roof form. Just looking at the previous. Still on the new elevation, still on this image. It looks like a hip roof here, but then on the elevations, it looks like a shed. coming off of that main gable.
It's all interactive design, so it's all the same. So it is a hip roof and currently shown as a metal hip roof blending up to the gable roofs.
Is there a reason that one's metal and the other ones are?
I believe the roof pitch is so low that if we go lower, then the comp will be warranted.
Yeah. Eric, questions?
No, actually.
Catherine, question?
I just have like an offhand question, and it really, I think it speaks to what Heidi was saying as well. And I was just curious as to why the front porch on the original dwelling was not going to be rebuilt or.
It wasn't a primary design goal for them. I mean, they're currently using it as a mudroom. Yeah, so you can look at the pictures, those original photos, it's been infilled, I'm guessing probably in the twenties, it was a porch. They got infilled probably in the forties or fifties, but
That
they
was
use it
my
as a mudroom
wonder.
day in and day out right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Jason?
Would there be any consideration to simplify the design of the porch detailing?
Commissioner defines simplify.
Uh, take off the massing gable, the wood truss, the sloped columns, spattered columns and the stone, just to make it less prominent. I mean, it itself is a beautiful little craftsman home, but it is
I would say,
very
Most-
in disproportionate to the existing modest home.
let me review with the applicants and see how they would like to respond. What about the hall? You want to talk in forum?
I mean.
Would you come up?
Yeah,
and
sure. Identify your name, your
Name
address.
and
My name is Brendan Smythe. This is my wife, Sarah Gerard, and
Street address.
live at 216 Northwest Lava Road. Yeah, as far as the kind of design facing Delaware, that's where all the activity is in the neighborhood in terms of the sidewalks going down Delaware. The way right now we don't have any front sort of area to interact with the neighborhood. So we were looking forward to being able to use this space as sort of an outdoor living space to be able to interact with neighbors as they're walking their dogs and as they're going up and down Delaware. Lava is definitely more of like a commuter street. Whereas Delaware is, people kind of take their time and are enjoying the homes that are on that street. Part of why we moved into the neighborhood was because of the historic nature of the homes and specifically Delaware. And we feel like the design that Jason and Trinity have come up with is similar to the other homes in the neighborhood. We're surrounded by homes that are much grander than ours. So if anything, I feel like this would fit more into the style of the neighborhood. Most of the homes around us are twice the square footage of our property. So yeah, I think that's sort of what we were hoping to achieve, is just to kind of be more like the rest of the neighbors and actually be able to sit out front and interact with everyone as they walk by.
Just to clarify, I'm not questioning the programming or even the size of the addition. It's just the very dominant craftsman detailing of this covered porch is not in keeping with this very simplified design of the rest of the building. And so if you're driving down Delaware and I see this, I would think there's a brand new building, brand new to look old and fit in and would fit in beautifully, but it's an addition and it's a secondary entry to the building. So it's that's just what I'm struggling with, is that it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's in my opinion on what is proportional and
The chair slip off, we would design it to look uglier, would have been okay.
yes. Thanks, Jason. That's what I'm grappling with. It's
Chair Slabaugh, is it just the covered porch? Is it a covered porch and deck with the
it's
associated side deck that's uncovered?
no, the deck. I mean, you see additions of decks, size of it. Yeah, I think it's just it just looks and speaks like a very nice entry porch. And you're saying it's not. And it would.
And if there were
I'm
no
just one voice
stairs, if there were no
on-
stairs there, would that?
The no stairs might help,
Yeah.
narrower stairs.
Fireman's ladder, fireman's pole down.
You're testing. See how professional I can keep it up here. Thanks, Jason.
Can we have a moment to discuss in the hall, since this is a new?
Sure. You go
Discussion?
right ahead.
Take a 5-minute recess.
Yeah, let's do that.
Gotcha. 5-minute
I have
recess.
some coffee and some ice water. Is there with that some?
I thought you said you had some caulking, like we had chores to do or something.
Hammers and nails and.
Totally heard that one wrong.
Judy did a painting hung in my office.
There you
I
go.
don't get out often, what?
I guess you don't. It is.
You wanted me back.
What's that?
You wanted me back.
I'm not sorry, just me.
I think Jerry and I are fighting over whose replacement you'll be.
But I really have to. have it in there.
Okay. Just rock the boat. Okay. Just
Exciting.
clarifying.
Yeah. Heidi and Kathy are ex officio, or not ex officio, alternate.
Mhm.
Food for thought.
Since we have a forum of commissioners, do they vote?
No.
No, okay.
Correct. Only if needed to fill in, and I think, if. If, Tom or Derek were here and we needed a voting member, I think. Kathy would be the first one
First
to
one,
vote, because
right.
she's been.
In time, yeah.
on Long
Okay.
gone.
All right.
But if both Derek and Tom are gone, then and Kathy would vote.
Okay.
Maybe in the newbie.
Yeah, you know, I gotta remind you about designing from the bench and stuff, but
I am not. Just saying.
as presented,
I mean, I just.
Okay, that was-
Conscious of it, but it doesn't.
did you forget everything I was mentioning?
Photos of the campus of other houses in the neighborhood.
Oh, yes, thinking about the days of the house.
Did you?
We watched the entire thing and the dwelling as it exists is not consistent with the neighborhood. But the addition that we're putting on will pull it into conformity with the neighborhoods.
Okay.
I like
And so I'm not bothered.
Oh.
Twisted. You might look at it to this, just.
Yeah, same age.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I didn't
to the
know.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day February 22nd.
Do I need to?
I mean, March.
Yeah, he came the 21st.
But we're back.
I think that was the 23rd.
When we finish.
So like 12:01 or something.
You're back.
Yes.
Well,
Are we back on?
Transparency.
Chair.
All right, we're back in session.
We're back.
What'd
So,
you come up with?
you know, the ultimate goal is to get this side porch because the livability is very important. So we would like, I know you guys can't really tell us what to do, but we kind of need you to tell us what to do. We want the side porch. We hear your comments. The clients still need to get down from the porch via a set of stairs somewhere. What do we do, Jerry?
Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Just as an observation.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with the massing that Heidi does. And I think the idea of having a snout on Delaware actually gives a bit of balance to the block that the sunflowers don't quite do as it stands right now. There's a lot of them, there are, but what I see in the plan and from everything that I've read over the years of doing this is a dissimilar surface. You have a very plain standard mill worker's house
Yes.
on lava. The secondary is of dissimilar materials by virtue of its ornate nature. So that to me does meet the letter of the law. The other idea on this is, can you chop the addition off and bring the house back to what it was? Yeah, it's completely it's isolated enough that the impact to the existing structure, well, it does give the idea of a facade that is primary entrance on Delaware. I look at it as one of those that in that neighborhood, what we've been seeing is your little house would get torn down and we'd have a McMansion there. And I think this is one of the more thoughtful additions for livability. I don't have the same heartburn that Commissioner Slaybaugh does, so just thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay. We'll come back to that then when commission discusses a
Motion.
thank you, a motion.
Hmm.
You're still looking for something from us to tell you what to do.
Sort of kind of ish. I mean,
Mm-hmm,
we don't want to have a disapproval because that's not fun for everyone.
mm-hmm.
And is the commission responding to one commissioner directing us to less detail that facade? Or is the commission directing us I know we have a quorum and so everybody goes to vote. Yeah, I think we're stuck.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that we can do is just leave it as is
Mhm.
and then see what happens when the commission does vote and go from there.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Any other questions about the proposal?
No, I wanted to make a comment. I am also not bothered by the addition. And I'm a non-voting commissioner at the time,
Mhm.
so. But also I did not realize I needed to let everybody know that I walked the neighborhood, just to see if the addition was going to be consistent.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the home right now is very plain and it's not consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. And so I think that the addition does bring it into compliance with what is existing, particularly down in Delaware.
Okay. I think we're starting to boil into commission discussion. And are there any other questions from the commissioners? Okay, would anybody like to make a statement in favor? This is your chance. This is your chance. Come on up.
Do I need to?
Yeah.
Yes, please. We need your name and address.
My name is Sarah Gerard. Gosh, I started to go into like when I do speeches at school, but you don't need to know the occupation. I live, what?
Sorry, go ahead.
So I live at 216 Northwest Lava Road with my husband, Brendan Smythe. I just want to say we absolutely love this neighborhood. We were very intentional when we moved to Bend to look to a neighborhood where we would build community, where we would know our neighbors and our neighbors would know us. And we fell absolutely in love with this home and with our community. And we are just truly looking forward to making this house become a gem and to, again, like be able to sit on a porch and talk to our neighbors where right now we don't have that. And so we've spoken with our neighbors. They love the house. They love the design. They're looking forward to us being able to communicate with them just in the passing. That's to us where the good happens, like, what'd you get at Market of Choice? Oh my gosh, are you going over here? Like, just how's the dog? Like, oh, your dog escaped. Like, I just rescued one of our neighbor's dogs the other day. Like, and that's what we're truly looking forward to in building this home and this addition. And we're grateful for the time here and just for everybody just listening to this. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone out there who would like to speak against the proposal?
Nobody's online.
No one's online. Thank you very much. Well, then, additional comment from staff? Okay, thank you very much. Well, then the public part of the meeting is closed up. Okay, all right. As we said, Tom, Derek, and I are the commissioners Kathy and Heidi are alternates. Since we have the quorum, then the only votes will come from Tom, Derek, and I. Okay, all right. Commissioners? Thoughts? Tom?
I think I tend to agree with Derek about the, meeting the requirement of differentiating the addition from the structure.
Mhm.
It is a bit odd that it results in actually maybe looking more historic than the existing house because of the updates that have been made over the years to the existing house.
Okay.
So that is a bit odd, but realistically, if we were asking them to make the addition more modest than the existing house, I think that would be challenging to pull off. It's already so modest. So yeah, it is, it's a bit challenging. Also, the scale of the porch does kind of overwhelm some of the house, but if that was enclosed space, I'm not sure we would have that same reaction, so I'm not sure we should be punishing outdoor space more than we would enclosed space.
Heidi? Observations, comments?
Yeah, I would like to see it a little bit more simplified. Not that I design up here, so. But the size, the massing, I mean, I can buy into the massing of the covered porch. Personally, I just think it still detracts. I think it's a beautiful addition, but I just struggle with it detract. Whatever, I'm at a loss of words tonight too. Competing with the front entry. So if it were a little bit more simplified, like just simple columns, not an open gable and boxed in gable end or something simple like that I think it would be modest and still give them everything that they want, but it's just.
Thank you. Derek?
Let's take the house and picture it on a lot that's not on a corner. Were this house, were the addition to be inboard on the property facing a neighbor, we wouldn't even have a word about this. There wouldn't be a concern. The location on Delaware is fortunate and unfortunate in that regard. I think that as you walk down Delaware and you see the massing of the addition, your mind isn't going to think this is out of place. And I think as you turn up lava, usually at 30 miles an hour, and just fly through the neighborhood, you're not going to notice the tie together. It's not, that block of lava is not really a walking block. It's getting better, but it's not like Delaware. I don't see anything that is irreparable when it comes to the original home. And I see the dissimilar materials being exactly what we look for. I mean, to be honest, when I opened the package up today, I looked at this and this is the first package I've seen since I've been back on commission that was complete. And I was impressed as hell. I was very pleased to read this one instead of my normal irked nature. So I don't know that the preparatory work and presentation don't sway me a bit when it comes to the few items that Heidi brings up that are justified. I mean, it looks like the snout of a new house. But for what we're looking for people to do in the historic district, where we implore them to go with the lower ridge height and the massing and all of these different elements, and to have them do it right, I don't have a problem in the world.
Thank you. Kathy, observations, comments?
Boy, the only observations that I have, just in looking at the design. One thing that strikes me that could potentially simplify it is just simply taking out the detail in the porch gable, in the new addition gable.
Mhm.
And then it would create a clean gable, just like the gables shown on the rest of the house. And then my other wonder is if there is a neighborhood fence or a low neighborhood fence that could go around the perimeter, that would make it clear that it's not a front entry.
Okay. You're looking at a fencing of some kind.
Potentially, just just a simple fence that says this is not a main entry, this is a side entry. But otherwise, I feel like for them to be able to pull it into consistency in the neighborhood is an important step.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. All right, commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
You or me?
Well, do we have consensus on conditions of approval?
The only thing I picked up from the presentation was a step detail at deck, says they changed height. That I do not believe was in the conditions.
Additional,
There was a step detail that was necessary at the changing deck heights. I believe it was from the,
Well, it is
So
basically
number three.
oh, is it? I'm
Shall
sorry.
It's in there.
demonstrate that the
You know,
proposed deck
you're
is
on top of it. I'm mistaken.
18 inches, and they were saying they will step down to make it 18 inches, but I think the way it's written.
I
is
missed
correct.
that one.
so the motion was,
Is that the only condition of approval in this staff report?
well,
There's
the
five
other,
of them.
there's 5 of them.
Pull them back up.
Sure. Are there, when you make your motion to approve, are there any other conditions of approval other than these 5, Tom?
What do we think about recommending that they consider a fence?
Would you like to put that into your motion?
Is that an appropriate sort of condition if it's not definitive or?
It's not on the plans.
I mean, I'll
As
defer to
presented.
you, but I feel like good condition needs to be pretty definitive.
It is a front yard by definition. The property has 2 front yards and height limitations for fencing is maximum of 3.5 feet tall in
Right.
front.
But
So
according
as
to
far-
what we heard from the applicant, it doesn't
It's
seem
not
like
really-
a fence is something they would want, because they want to be able to engage with their neighbors on that side.
Have the neighbor's dog run into the yard.
Right. Yeah, as far as the
Yes.
code goes, we would consider them both frontages, even though that's not the front entrance, so fencing would look the same on either of those frontages, so I don't know if it would make the distinction that the commission is looking for.
Then I move that we approve the application with the 5 conditions of approval listed in the staff report.
Any other conditions you would like to put into it, Tom?
Second,
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve of the proposal of the application with the 5 conditions recommended by staff. Discussion of the motion? Kathy? No discussion? Derek? Discussion? Heidi, discussion of the motion? Tom? Okay, then we'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. There you go.
Absolutely. I don't have a problem.
I didn't make nothing that we're doing well. It's already 7.
I don't think there is a time limit, because typically the conditions of approval are like prior to the building permit into the.
About our version that would be
Right, yeah.
happened in the last. And so since they changed the density.
Thank you. Now in one,
You did all the hard work for the application, so.
Okay.
Nice.
you had it. I would like to echo Derek's comments that the proposal was very well done.
The best I've seen in 20 years.
Yep.
If you guys connected for.
Okay,
Yeah, send me your email.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
see you guys.
Thank you very much.
I need that yet. No. As far as the proposal, I would have expected big top notch.
I had
Coming from Jason, yeah.
The players were.
Okay, that takes care of that, and we're on to section 5 of our agenda, communications. Update on state historic preservation grant. Heidi, you're on.
Yeah, so I had a successful meeting with an architect last week who is willing to take on the code rewrite that is part of our grant plan.
Oh, great.
And so I'm working on a contract right now. So we're hoping that if we can get that paperwork done, that maybe he could come and meet everybody next month.
Okay, super.
And so we can get started on that. I was able to collect everybody's comments and feedback I've gotten over the years and present that in a long list of questions and included that with a proposal from him.
Oh, if there's gonna be a proposal, it'll have to be at a regular meeting.
Well,
Not
this
a
will be a
work
work
session.
session, I think.
But then we couldn't approve a proposal or anything.
Well,
but-
So the proposal is give us an audit of the code and where we could make some language
Okay.
changes.
Mhm.
And as part of that proposal, I included a lot of the questions that we've had and the struggles with,
Mhm.
certain sections, could try to prioritize things.
Mhm.
And that's part of that, and so, but he was wanting to come and introduce himself and, study the list that I've given him and, and maybe hear from you too as well, just from the horse's mouth as far as, what your concerns are through a work session.
Okay,
So before he really starts and then he wants to come back when he's got some ideas and
Okay.
some audit
Sure.
recommendations. So,
Sure.
so I got that and looks like we might have an opportunity as a Heritage All-Star community to work with Oregon State or U of O, University of Oregon, with emergency resource management plan. So we're just starting on that. So I'm hoping I sent some information out to everybody about that. So we're just at the beginning stages on that. So let me know if you have any questions on that. And then I just had 2 other things. In January, we have some reappointments. And I'm hoping that you guys want to do another term, and that would be Heidi, Derek, and Kathy. So I'm hoping that you would say yes, and that we only need to go out for Jerry's because he will have turned out. So
when do I term out?
January.
Of 24?
Yep.
Oh, so I'm done in January?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So,
That's like 3 months away.
right.
There's a term.
There's a term limit.
Landmarks, I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
it's the term limits came in about 4 years ago.
Longer than that,
Yeah.
but Heidi termed out already and it's been several years since she was on and now she's back again.
Oh, you could do that.
Yeah,
Nice.
And there was a big gap between like 3 or 4 years, maybe.
it couldn't have been that much, was it? Was it really?
Yeah,
3 years.
so,
She took me into coming.
so I hope that you guys, and you can't leave, I'll lock the door unless you say yes. But, and then, as part of our grant, we became members of the National Alliance for Commissions, the national organization.
Mhm.
And they do a monthly or a quarterly letter and things, and please let me know if you guys want to get that. I don't want to overload your email boxes with information, or I can, pass on your email address to them and you can, so let me know if you want to do that, because they have some nice magazines
Mhm.
online that
Mhm.
they do, so, and other information. So, and every once in a while, just some free webinar or something, because we're part of their membership. I can forward that on to you. I try really hard to not overload you guys. So that's all I have.
I have a
Okay.
question about our Bend email versus our other email. Like, do you send stuff out to both emails?
Well, I would like to do it just for the benefits. We're still
Okay.
struggling to get up onto that. Seems like, we're about 50-50. I know I sent you an email about getting you up and running.
I did it today.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there were like more than 50-50 then.
Okay.
Kathy's had some problems with it and Derek has. I can put you in connection with the IT people to get you going. Jerry was able to get you they were able to walk Jerry through it. So it's possible we can get you up. So that would be the goal, because everything that, communication wise should be through the Bend website or emails in case for some reason we need to document,
Yes. Yes.
conversations.
So this National Alliance of Landmarks Commissioners, can you give them that email address?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm. So
I'd
I
like
mean,
to
if
get
you're
it.
okay with that and, I think that they, it sounds good. I can do that for you. Mhm. And then anybody else, if that's okay, if you want me to pass on all your individual Bend email addresses. Yes. Okay. All right.
Hey, is there a way to not get the city of Bend emails? Like from it's like all staff emails to the whole city or something that I get?
Well, that's not something that I don't. That's not something that you get through is it through the Bend email address?
Yeah.
I'll ask IT about that. Yeah.
I can't get notice of the meetings. You're getting the city council stuff.
It's like,
How
for-
often do you get it? What do you
I
get?
think it's every day. It's like for employees, there's like,
Really?
Yeah.
Can you forward one on? Yeah, that's just a little weird. Can you forward me just one example so I can ask, put that's something that shouldn't be. I was just assuming that you got just what I sent you.
yeah, it makes it hard to filter the real emails from.
Well, yeah, there's no reason. I think that's an error.
Are you getting like job announcements?
I don't even read them usually, but it's
Okay.
about like somebody was congratulated for doing a good job on something.
No,
Oh,
that's an error.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a complete error.
You know, if someone like got a good like people will give positive feedback at the counter or something, like
Jerry-
that's what I'm thinking of.
Jerry, do you get emails every day? So
No.
that's an error. I think
Oh,
that's
hi.
simply- I will, if you could just send me an example, then I can try to cut that out.
All I
I think you
get
should just
is,
be able,
yeah,
I think you should be getting our staff information, packet information the week before, and every once in a while, some
Yeah.
free webinar or some.
yeah, no, all
I'll
I get
put that
is commission business things.
Okay, commission business.
Yeah, that's all I
Okay,
get.
I'm sorry about that, Tom.
Ah. Well, maybe it's interesting. You might want to hang on to it.
Maybe there's another Tom Schmidt that works.
Looking
the
for a new
city,
job.
They could be.
Because not that there's another Alexa Repco, but I was getting for a while, like Alex,
that's-
somebody's emails and stuff, and I'm like,
Okay,
this is not me.
I think that's an error and I will take care of that.
Yeah.
But that's all I have.
No,
for
thank you.
reports.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to the meeting with our contractor on revisions to the code.
Yeah.
Um,
Me too.
I think that's something that have needed to do for a long
Yeah, me too.
time. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Reports from commissioners. Kathy, anything to report?
Nope.
Everything is fine and dandy in your neck of the woods?
Everything is fine and dandy. The OBNA didn't meet for most of the summer, and so I
Okay.
don't have anything to report from them
Yeah.
yet.
Mhm.
And if I do, I'll send it through Heidi.
Okay, yeah, and this is the time of the year when you have those first meetings after nobody's met all summer. No, we haven't done anything anyway. Tom,
Yeah.
Heidi,
See, Friday is the Restore Oregon's Preservation Celebration
Mhm.
for the DeMuro Awards of 2024. So I'll be going up to Portland. Excited to announce that another project of mine was awarded an award. It's the addition to the Union High School out in Union, Oregon. So they're doing a really good job at spreading the love throughout the state. So it's
right.
really exciting.
Well done.
Congratulations.
I know that building
Do you?
very well, actually.
Hi.
I lived in LeGrand.
Okay.
I was out there in Union all the time. Yeah, I know that building. I subbed out there. Yeah,
Yeah, you'll have to go in and check it out.
I'll
We
have to go take a
restored
look
the
at it.
front entry, so you
Did
go
you?
back in the front doors now. And then there's an elevator addition on the backside.
oh, I bet that was tough.
Yeah.
On a 110-year-old building,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah,
Oh,
it's gotta
so
be about
cool.
that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got photos?
I do.
Could you send them to me?
Sure.
I'd love to see what happened to
Mhm,
that building.
mhm.
It's a
I'd say
classic,
yes.
it's a classic school building.
Oh, yeah. it's
Oh, yeah,
beautiful.
it's a
Yep.
great one.
Yeah.
Derek,
No,
nothing to report?
no, not really.
Okay,
No.
good for you.
No.
All right. And I am probably in the same boat. Just one thing, Discover Your Forest and the Forest Service is having a student and parent kind of jamboree, outdoor education out at the Forest Service Center a week from Saturday. If you're interested in something like that, give me a holler and I could send you details.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. That's Discover Your Forest is one of my favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, I will entertain a motion.
We adjourn.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Yep.
Aye. Any opposed? Out of here.
You get to vote
Thank
on
you,
that.
folks. Thank you for